Hi, my name is Olivia, one of the directors at Women Who Code Taipei. I grew up in Canada and now I'm currently living in Taiwan. I have a background in cognitive psychology and I'm currently a human-computer interaction and STEAM education consultant. I teach about HCI design thinking and the basis of computational thinking and programming to newcomers in the tech world. Today, I'm very delighted to have the opportunity to interview a very special guest, Lucy Kerner, who is here to share about her journey and to give us a snippet of her life as a woman leader in technology. Lucy Kerner is the Director of Security Global Strategy in Evangelism at Red Hat and leads security thought leadership, evangelism, and the technical and go-to-market strategy for security across the entire portfolio globally. Lucy has 20 years of professional experience as both a software and hardware development engineer, solutions architect, and global security strategist evangelist, where she worked on various aspects of security. In addition, she helps create and deliver security-related technical content to the field, customers, partners, analysts, and press, and has spoken at numerous events, including security conferences, and she is a Red Hat Summit top presenter. Lucy is also a frequent author of security articles at various online magazines, and prior to joining Red Hat, she worked at IBM as both a mainframe microprocessor design engineer and a solutions architect. Lucy graduated from Carnegie Mellon University with a Master of Science and Bachelor of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering and a minor in Spanish. Welcome, Lucy.
Thanks.
Hi, Lucy. I'm so delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you and hear about your story. From my understanding, it looks like you have a very solid career in both engineering and in security. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey to your current position?
Sure. Thanks, Olivia. Hi, everyone. So I would say my journey always started out with my love for math and science. I really loved it, as a child growing up and in high school, and I really excelled in it. But I didn't know what kind of jobs can I get with that. I don't want to sit there and solve math problems all day long. Is that what a job's going to entail? I really didn't know, right? So I went to the Career Center junior year of my high school, and I asked, I said, I really like math and science. Do you know of any summer programs that I can apply to, or are there internships that you know of? And she told me, the Career Center person told me, okay, there's this program where they're selecting 25 women across high schools across all of the Washington, D.C. metro area to attend a 3-month summer program at University of Maryland College Park and they pay for everything from your dorm and also all the intro-level engineering classes there. And that exposes you to all the various engineering disciplines that University of Maryland College Park offers. So I thought this was a really good opportunity for me to learn what is engineering, what exactly are these disciplines, is this something I might want to pursue, that kind of thing. So I got into that program. And so, I got exposure to chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, et cetera, right? So I actually, through that program, I knew coming out that, this engineering is what I want to do. Specifically, I wanted to do electrical and computer engineering. So after that, I knew to filter what schools I wanted to apply to, right? So I wanted to have some safe schools for electrical computer engineering, but also some more harder to reach schools, right? So I applied and I chose to go to Carnegie Mellon University, and I actually got accepted into the electrical and computer engineering program. And that's what I graduated with both the master's and bachelor's in electrical computer engineering. And during my years at Carnegie Mellon, another thing I did was every summer I interned at various different places because I wanted to know what type of company did I want to work for and what type of work did I want to do. So, I interned at MITRE, I interned at Lockheed Martin, I interned at Apple. And so I knew I wanted to be a hardware engineer as my first job out of college, right? So I worked at IBM as a microprocessor hardware design engineer, designing microprocessor. How do I make it fast, and how do I make also make it super fast, but also small, right? Because you want microprocessors to be custom microprocessors to be small but fast, right? So that was my job for about 5 or 6 years out of college, and then there was an opportunity inside IBM where the IBM was looking for engineers to enter a customer-facing technical role, which they call solution architects, right? And so, for all their line of servers and mainframes. So I said, well, this is not something I've never done, like customer-facing, presentations or designing system level solutions or anything like this. I was at the microprocessor level, very fine-tuned, very specific role, right? So I'm like, I don't know if I have the skills to do this, right? So there's that doubt that comes in. However, I said, well, let me try it. And then so I got into one of the roles as a solutions architect for their IBM based Intel servers, right? So they called them X series. So I was a solution architect. That was my first stepping stone into a customer facing role where I'm presenting, or I'm designing solutions for customers, those kinds of things. So which I've never done before outside of maybe college. I presented in college, but besides that, I never really did on a professional setting. And so what I didn't know is it will be a first stepping stone into where I am today. I didn't predict that. I made pros and cons lists and everything like this, and I never predicted this is going to be a stepping stone eventually to some sort of leadership role in security. I had no idea. You're never going to know, right? All you can do is say, oh, this is something that I will learn and grow from, and something I have an interest in. And if it meets those things, then it's worth trying. Because if you're going to grow and you are interested in it, then you should try it out, right? So that's what I did. And so I did that for several years, and then after that, I wanted to go to try something different. I wanted to go into the cloud space. I wanted to, and I also wanted to. I was interested in what Red Hat was doing in the Linux area, so I applied to Red Hat, and I became a cloud-focused solutions architect, focused on cybersecurity. So I've done cybersecurity at an engineering level. And also at IBM from the mainframe server level, but I also wanted to try from the cloud security area as well. So that's what I did at Red Hat as a cloud solutions architect for U.S. public sector, who have a very strict requirements for security, right? So I did that for several years, and as I did that role, you meet people. I think another important thing that I learned is it's important to network, especially with people who that you may want to look up to, that you want to learn from and grow from. So one of the senior level people inside public sector I did a technical integration of Red Hat products to solve certain security related challenges for public sector customers. And I presented that to customers. And then, there's a senior person at Red Hat in public sector who saw that and said, so Lucy, you should really present this like externally, like maybe apply, submit to our annual conference, Red Hat Summit. Why don't you submit to some local public sector conferences and things like this? I was like, there's no way, I'm not going to get into that. There's another doubt coming out because I've never presented in such a, to customers, but at that point I hadn't presented to a huge audience, like 100 plus people, things like this, or at big conferences. And the Red Hat Summit is our biggest annual conference, and I've never presented there before, right? So more self-doubt kind of come in. However, I got a lot of encouragement from people, especially the leadership team at public sector at Red Hat. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And not only did I get in, but that year my session was ranked one of the top 10 sessions, and so I got Red Hat top presenter from that. So, but what I also didn't predict is that once you present Red Hat leadership saw that, oh, who is she, like what, oh, that's actually a great presentation, she can present, like what, think those kind of, so you start exposing yourself more widely, and so which I didn't think that's what might happen. I mean, obviously it's obvious now, but that wasn't the reason I submitted to Red Hat Summit, right? So eventually that role, that my presenting actually got the attention of several Red Hat leaders, and eventually maybe a couple months later, maybe a year later, I got contacted by a Red Hat leader that said, we're going to create this role focused on security. It's a global role. It's going to focus on go-to-market strategy for security across the entire Red Hat portfolio, messaging and all this stuff, evangelism, right? And it's a leadership role that we want, that this person is going to do with an influence and work cross-functionally across Red Hat. And so they said, we think you would be a great candidate and we would like you to apply. And I was thinking to myself, again, doubting, like, oh, do I think I can do this? I've never, done this type of role before and all this, but again, it's about when the opportunities come and if you're interested in it and there is potential to grow, you should always give it a shot. Because even though you don't know for a fact that you'll be able to do it or successfully, or you don't know for a fact if you have any doubts about it, I think that's one of the lessons learned, that if you have an interest and there's potential to grow, give it a shot. So I gave it a shot, and that's what I've been doing for the past 5 or 6 years at Red Hat, and it's been great.
Wow, that's quite a journey. I love how you have such a diverse experience. One question is, how does your hardware and software development background impact your current work in cybersecurity?
So I think the key thing is that cybersecurity is a technical field, right? Just like cloud or Linux or et cetera, right? So I think my background in hardware, software development, engineering in general, allowed me to understand core concepts in cybersecurity at a deep technical level, such as cryptography, which is core to cybersecurity, right? And then in my current role, I take that core technical cybersecurity knowledge, and then I have to apply it to specific cybersecurity challenges that our customers have, and tailor the customer solution and messaging of how we can help at Red Hat for different personas that exist in enterprises, such as the CISO, right, the executive level at security organizations, somebody like a compliance officer, security, or somebody on the technical side of security, like security analyst or security engineer or security pen tester. But it also could be other teams that are affected by security or do security in some level, like IT operations, like system administrators, or developers, like software developers, right? So, how do you build a solution and tailor the message for these types of different people, right? And that core technical knowledge of cybersecurity helps to do that, because when you have that knowledge, then you can fine tune it to the different areas.
It seems like security is quite complex and covers a vast field as well. What do you think about security? What does security mean to you?
Yeah, I think you're right. That security is it's a vast field, but that's one of the things I love about it. I love that how vast it is, how constantly growing it is, and like technology in general, right? So, in security, there's this famous diagram where it says, like, it's like the vast world of security ecosystem and all these vendors, and you can't even see it. There's so many that you have to zoom in to see everything. So the idea, there's everything from network security, endpoint security, incident response, compliance, identity access management, newer areas that people are exploring around containers and Kubernetes security and cloud security in general. And then other more emerging areas around, how quantum computing is going to change cybersecurity and how we do cryptography as a whole, right? So it's growing, it's vast, there's a lot of opportunities, and so and I also feel that it's not just about the technology. Security to me is not just about the technology. To do security correctly, it involves people, it involves processes, it involves technology. In fact, most security breaches out there, it's due to human errors. And so there's always a trade-off with security, a balance between delivering business applications quickly, like I need to get this so out the door, this product, or I need to get this application or out the door as fast as possible, right? And you may compromise security because of that, because there's a lot of checks that you have to pass for security to be happy, right? So maybe you might compromise that to get things out the door faster. Also, organizations don't have infinite money and infinite resources. Security is infamously known to be very limited in terms of resources and funding, right? And so there's no such thing as 100% security. So, sometimes I get asked by customers, what's one thing I can do to have 100% security? There is no such thing, right? You can't fix everything. You have to be strategically manage risks, and you have to do security in a continuous and in a defense in depth layered security type fashion.
I see. Well, I love how you remind people that it's not just about the technology aspect, but also the people. Things more about security. Is there anything about security that you want to share with the audience that you feel that sometimes people kind of forget or people should know more about?
Sure. Yeah. I think if you're interested in pursuing a cybersecurity role, just remember that your foot in the door doesn't mean that you have to start with a job that has security in the title. There are core skills that's needed for security, but you may not have security in the title. For example, IT generalists, they have a solid foundation to contribute to an organization's cybersecurity practice. Things like skills that you might want to develop, candidates who would be successful in a cybersecurity role would be everything from data security, from Linux to hardening Linux systems to computer, software development, programming, cloud security, risk management, compliance, threat detection, remediation, network security, monitoring, troubleshooting, those kinds of things. But also it doesn't have to be a hands-on technical role either, right? Again, it's a vast field. So there's program managers, project managers, there's security compliance officers, auditors, there's roles inside sales for doing security in the sales organization or the marketing organizations, and many other roles as well. So it's about what specific areas would you be interested in. So I think that's one thing I want to share, that don't just limit yourself. Know that there could, if you're interested in cybersecurity, there could be a role for you, and you don't have to have your foot in the door just by focusing on the narrow, with only security in the job title.
I see. Well, I think I see a similar theme that you're kind of suggesting that people just go for it and then kind of don't limit themselves. Earlier, you talked a little bit about your role as an evangelism and kind of promoting leadership. What are some of the projects you work on to promote thought leadership and evangelism for Red Hat?
Yeah, this is definitely a team sport in terms of not just only Lucy does this, right? So I help lead a lot of the efforts around security, thought leadership, and evangelism. But for example, our external messaging of what is Red Hat's view on hybrid cloud security, like what is Red Hat's take on it, and how could we help with things like cloud security, and it's on external face, we want that messaging externally, for example, on redhat.com, or maybe we want that messaging as a thought leadership in external facing articles. So I write a lot of articles on external magazines, whether it's like Tech Beacon, Security Boulevard, Increment magazines, but I'm not the only one. We have others as well. I would say, okay, would you want to write an article around this, or team with me to write an article around that threat detection or something like that, right? Another big thing is our presence at not only our conferences for security, such as a Red Hat Security Symposium and Security Track at Red Hat Summit, but also our presence at security-related conferences around at RSA, at Black Hat, right? What is the security our security messaging there? What do we want to bring in terms of a presentation, in terms of collateral, right? So I help lead that type of effort. Our webinars, both internal and external facing webinars, and then also influence through, for example, not only the press, but also industry analysts as well, through industry briefings, providing input to analysts as they write, for example, research reports.
And speaking of leadership role, for some people, including myself, we often work and deliver work to various types of clients, partners, and sometimes we also have to manage different teams. Do you have any advice for people in a similar role, and for those having to interact with many types of people and teams on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think one big things is at the end of the day, everyone you're interacting with, they're people, right? So you want to have a relationship with them. So, maybe if you've never worked with that person, the short intro call would be really helpful just to get to know who they are, what they're working on, where in the organization they fit, right? So that's really important. And a lot of, you're trying to get them to work with you and also help you with things, right? So the idea is, okay, how do I help influence them to show that what they're contributing to has value, right? So being very clear about, this is the goal that I'm trying to achieve. This is why I think you would really help with this. Being clear about what you want them to do, when you want them to do it by, right? And also knowing who's who in the organization is key too. So that again, networking comes into the picture too, because when you network, you find out, okay, well, what is your job and how do you fit into this big picture, right? And who else can you introduce me to into the team that I need to work with, right? So that's another big one, that you want to know who's who in the organization through networking, through talking to other people. And it's been harder with, everyone's remote and doing, at work from home. So you have to be a lot more proactive about getting to know these people, and also how they fit into the organization as well.
Well, thank you for the great tip. And earlier, you also talked about your diverse experience in different companies throughout your career. I just wanted to kind of switch gears now and talk a little bit about the culture at companies. What is it like to be a Red Hatter? And what do you think is the most unique about being at Red Hat?
So what I love about Red Hat is everyone's voice matters. Like, so, if you want to say something to the CEO of Red Hat, your voice will be heard. Like, they're not going to say, how dare you, you're just a lowly software engineer, talk to me, the CEO, right? There's not our culture is very much an open culture, very much a collaborative culture, very much everybody's thoughts matter, and we want to hear what you have to say. If you have good input and constructive input, we want to hear it, right? And we will share how things are going at Red Hat. It's very open, right? And it's very collaborative. So everybody is willing to. It's the open source culture of everybody wants to work together. Everybody wants to hear everyone's ideas and incorporate them. And the idea is, you can always build something better as a group versus just an individual. So that's the type of culture, and that's the thing I love about working at Red Hat.
Sounds like a great company to be at. Okay, so we were talking a lot about work. Let's talk outside from work. What are you passionate about outside of work?
So I love dogs, and one of the things that I've done for many years with my own dog is she's actually a certified therapy dog. So, especially before COVID, we've done visits to nursing homes, visits to mental health institutes, hospitals, and the idea is to bring smiles to people's faces, right? So the occupational therapist at the mental health institute Northern Virginia Mental Health Institute I bring her to said that it's someone who hasn't talked for, let's say, several days suddenly comes out of the shell and talks to the dog, or after petting the dog and interacting with it, right? So that's really rewarding to me, to be able to share my dog and the love of my dog with others who can't have that for themselves because they're in a hospital or they're in a nursing home, but I get to share that. So I love volunteering and sharing that kind of experience with others and helping others. So that's something that I'm definitely passionate about.
Oh, that's great. We have something in common. I love dogs, and I totally can relate about volunteering. I also volunteer a lot myself and can relate to those positive feelings you mentioned when supporting other people. So that's great. Lastly, for women are ready or want to pursue a career in the tech space, do you have a pro tip for them?
Yeah, I think the idea is take on things you've never done before. Don't doubt yourself. You'll be surprised what you can do. Like you will surprise yourself. Oh, I didn't think I could do it, but you'll surprise yourself. Maybe you'll excel in it, right? That's my own experience, for example. Know that growth and comfort don't coexist together, but that's okay because that means that you're actually learning something and that you're actually growing. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't be scared. Don't speak up. Don't be intimidated. Don't take things personally, right? You may be the only woman in the room, but that makes you unique, right? And that take that as an advantage, right? Don't ever stop learning. I'm constantly learning too. Be open to opportunities as they come to you, because they may never come to you again. Maybe not, right? It's a risk. So if you're interested in it, and if you think that you can, that it's a potential to grow, look at it really seriously into taking that opportunity. Because if the opportunity comes to you, and let's say a senior leader brings you that opportunity, they see something in you that you may not have seen yourself, right? So that means that you should really seriously consider it. You can't predict the future, right? So don't your pros and cons list won't show everything, because you really don't know that stepping stone you're taking, where it could potentially lead you, right? So yeah, those are some of the tips that I have.
Thank you. That's such an amazing advice. I'll definitely follow them. I definitely learned a lot from you, and I'm sure our audience also feels the same way. Thank you today for sharing your story, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the tech security space.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.